If you're a chocolate lover, I've got the perfect recipe for you. Today we're going to be making a Moelleux Au Chocolat, which is basically like a chocolate fondant or a molten chocolate lava cake, but in cake form. Think of it as a chocolate lover's paradise or the best brownie you will ever eat. So if you want to trick or treat yourself with this absolutely perfect and rich and decadent chocolate dessert with a little Halloween twist, keep watching. Personally, I love to treat myself, especially after I've done the bare minimum. To start, we're going to melt 200 grams or 1.5 cups of your favorite chocolate and 1 stick or 113 grams of butter together. Chocolate burns at a super low temperature, so whenever we're melting chocolate, it's really important that we don't scorch the bottom of our bowl. So you could melt your chocolate and your butter together over a double boiler. Personally, I like to save on dishes, so I use a microwave. Whenever you're using a microwave to melt your chocolate, you want to do so in 20-second increments until it's all melted. This is because the inside will burn before the outside has a chance to melt. So you want to do this in 20-second bursts, making sure that you're stirring every time. In a separate bowl, we're going to whisk together 3 whole eggs and 1 egg yolk and add 100 grams or half a cup of sugar and whisk that until the mixture turns pale like this. And in another separate bowl, we're going to mix together 125 grams or 1¼ cup of almond flour, 1 teaspoon or 2 grams of baking powder, and a pinch of salt. Then we're going to whisk that to combine all of our dry ingredients and add that into our egg base. And lastly, we're going to fold in our melted chocolate and the batter is done. Didn't I say that this was easy? Did I lie? Now you want to take a cake pan and grease that very generously, and I'm putting a piece of parchment paper on the base just to make sure that it comes out really easily later. And we're going to bake this at 345 for 20 to 25 minutes. You'll know our cake is done when it's slightly domed on the top and bounces back if you push on it ever so gently. Personally, I feel like all garnishes should be incorporated into your dessert and should complement it. So I'm going to show you guys how to make a super duper easy ganache and how to get that really cool spider web effect. For the ganache, we're going to take 240 grams or 1 cup of milk and 120 grams or half a cup of cream and gently bring that to a boil. Once it boils, we're going to pour it over 200 grams or 2 cups of chocolate, and our super simple and easy ganache is done. Now before glazing this cake, you want it to cool slightly. So once it's cool, we're going to flip it over saran wrap. I just laced 2 large pieces of saran wrap over my table and begin to pour your glaze over the cake. Now normally I would never glaze a cake over the table like this. I'd always flip it over an upside down bowl to let all of the excess drip off. But there is no gluten in this cake, which means there's really no structure here. So if you flip it over a bowl, it's just gonna collapse. Now finally, for our web design, I'm just melting some plain white chocolate and transferring that into a piping bag and begin spiraling around the cake. This doesn't have to be super perfect. Starting from the center of the gâteau, make lines going outward and do this all around your cake. And we are ready to dig in. Okay, you guys, that is it for today's recipe. This cake is so rich, it just calls me poor. I absolutely love this recipe so much, and it freezes beautifully. What I always do is cut my cake into cubes and freeze them in individual portions, and whenever I'm getting that rich chocolatey craving, I just pull one out and nuke it in the microwave. Might even mess around and add a scoop of ice cream on there, and that will satisfy all of your cravings. Using a really high quality chocolate in a recipe like this is going to make all of the difference. So try to use the best quality ingredients that you can. My absolute favorite holiday is coming up, which is Thanksgiving. So I'm really excited to make all of the Thanksgiving and pumpkin-y and fall inspired recipes. So don't forget to comment below some of your favorites, and we'll see you next week for a new meal plan. My mouth is watering.
Smash the like and subscribe button and comment down below of what you want me to do.
Kind of looks like I have a 5 o'clock shadow in the viewfinder, but that's because I do actually have a 5 o'clock shadow, and that is a true Halloween horror story. Ching!